Welcome to the Faith in the Wild podcast, where the path is rarely straight, but always sacred. I'm Nicole Moran.
And I'm Angelica, McCarthy. For 20 years, we've been walking this journey of life together, stumbling, rising, and discovering God's presence in unexpected places.
Today, we're creating space for conversation and reflection, inviting you to venture into the wilderness with us, because sometimes the most profound truths are found when we step off the marked trails and trust that we're exactly where we need to be.
So take a deep breath, open your heart, and join us as we explore what it means to have faith in the wild. Hi.
Hi, friend.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
What were we just talking about before we recorded?
Time of day.
Time of day.
Get a pen.
Today, I've been in a really good in the weeds flow, which is good. I intentionally knew that flow that started out the day was coming into this.
Oh.
So when it flows, then I'm like, cool. All right. And pivot. We're going to do this now. When those things don't connect, then it feels hard to stop.
Yes.
So just like the 2 o'clock, it's a lovely day out today too. I read outside this morning. Got some sun.
Yes.
That's how 2 o'clock is flowing for me. How are you at 2?
Good. That's good. Good. Babies got down pretty well. They're aligning right now. I don't know how long it's going to happen, but their naps are aligning. And so this gives like a solid chunk of time in the afternoon to mama. We took a really nice walk this morning, did some exercising, went to the park, ran around a little bit, played in the dirt. Good day. It's a good day. And then I was able to shower, which is also like all of those things.
On a Monday?
I know. And then I sat outside and read what you sent me. We kind of like touched a little bit on where we're going today. In our last one, I think it's been top of mind and it's time to dig in a little bit.
I'm really excited to talk about this today because it's one thing to know and feel it in certain moments, but it feels so evident today in everything that I've been working on.
Yes. Let's open that door.
Let's open it. On your side, what does the door look like?
Mine is more of like, have you ever like Con Air where he gets off the plane? It's like sunshine.
Okay.
That image.
Yeah.
I think of that meme. Zach sends me that meme a lot of times. That's where I envision you, where you're just like, let's do this. Me, I'm more of like, we'll just slowly open, see what's out there. Yes. I might still have a lock on the door.
But you've been opening it more from what it sounds like.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I know where I'm going, which I feel really intentional about. It's just the mess in the middle. It's not one of those like Kramer from Seinfeld, right? When he walks in the door, like not quite there yet. It's more of like, it's knocking, but
yeah.
But we're getting there. That's my door right now. I am willing to open it.
And that's pretty major, the willingness to open it. Because that's what gets us in trouble is our unwillingness.
Yeah. So I might still have the lock when I peek, but we're willing to open, let it throw all the things.
Depending on how much you want to open it today or continue to open it just a little more today.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here for you. And so where do you want to begin in opening your door a little? What's on top of mind?
Honestly, I don't even think I have I think my mind is so scattered right now. And that could be like a 2 o'clock thing within the day. That might be more situational. Haven't had time to sit in it yet in the last few days. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. I might ask you to dive in if that's cool. And we'll see what comes up.
Yeah. I'll start with where my energy was today as to wanting to full on send you a almost 5-minute voice memo.
It's so good.
I was like, I'm so sorry. This is so long. And even scanning pictures of the entire chapter for you to read.
It helped me focus. So I was thankful for that moment.
Yeah, you're so very welcome. I've been reading Brené Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection. This book came across for me in 2 different capacities. I was in a rabbit hole for the work that I'm doing and trying to build a strategy and structure around how I want to impart well-being, especially in the workplace. That tends to be where I focus lately, working in arts workplaces and how to keep people happy, healthy, and all the above, but not in me telling them what to do. It's just giving them the awareness and knowledge of it. And so thinking to myself, maybe we should have a book that is read too. I've seen this book millions of times, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh wait, this is exactly what I need to read right now. And read it so fast and just finished the last 4 chapters today. Like, wow. And the chapter today that really spoke to me, well, all of them do, but as far as regarding us and what we're here to do right now, cultivating meaningful work, letting go of self-doubt and supposed to. That has probably been my biggest hiccup in this transition and this transformation and this faith in the wild and this walk and the path and the journey and all the things, is literally letting go of the self-doubt and supposed to. And the to-dos of all the things that we do and have known to do and have come to learn to do. And ultimately, who do I want to be? Who am I? And that is even rooted in enoughness, which has been a process for me too. Just because it looks on face value that I've got all these skills and gifts, that doesn't mean I embody it and understand it and see it the same internally. And so when she talked about being connected to the quest for meaningful work, it's our gifts and our talents, which we talked about in one of our episodes in the beginning. Spirituality, like that's all we're talking about, is God and his presence in who we are and what we do and what we seek to do. And then that making a living piece is where that's probably the biggest barrier right now, is the balance between meaningful work and making a living.
Let's lean into that.
Let's lean into that, because I work in the arts. Meaningful work sometimes does not have money. Or you have to build it from the beginning, like you're building yours from scratch.
Yeah.
So there's so many dynamics to making a living, and making a living in quotes, you know.
Yeah.
And then the commitment, you know, it's when I have that self-doubt, I start to slowly wane on my commitment.
Yes.
Opposed to, oh, I got to go do this, I got to do that. But then what's inside of me with that self-doubt is like, okay, let's just go here where you're going to be happy then. Let's go to something where it can give you joy. And then, yeah, self-doubt is the last one on here. And that self-doubt, it rings loud like a siren down the street sometimes. And so even just that, it resonated. I appreciate the fact of her research, and it's on a qualitative nature of really understanding and speaking to the people that are there that she is surveying and having discussions with, versus it being like what the numerical number of data says. It's more experiential. It really speaks to what people are out there saying and doing and believing. And the way she structured her language in this book is just like, thank you. That makes so much sense. The yes and the all of the above, she's doing it. It's like, I can do it too. Just because we have that research science background within our degrees and everything. So making a living, because that lit you up a little bit. Did you have a thought?
Yeah. Well, I sent you, I don't know if you even got it, because it was like literally when we were getting on.
I did.
So the last part of that chapter, I'm assuming that's the end of the chapter, you sent me, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are words that I've been feeling. I had a conversation yesterday with some of my small group, the ladies, we all got together last night. We were talking about this concept of sometimes I just don't know the words yet for where I'm at, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. How do I verbalize this? Because like sometimes I just don't have the words. It's feeling, it's here, it's living here. Yeah. And so I have a tendency to answer it analytically, like, this is how I feel, but is it truly deep rooted? Yeah. Probably not, because to go there is hard. It's just hard to get into that. And so just speaking on the topic of the making a living and where I'm at, I am at a place where I love what I get to do. I am supportive people. I get to help people. I have a great team, but I feel like God is pulling me in a different direction, right? And that's the starting at scratch thing. And I'm like, okay, how do these worlds live and exist? And also, you know, all the other slashes in life, right? Mom, wife, da 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 da. This was great. And so I'm going to read it because this just put words to how I was feeling. I'm sure many others probably live in that space too, is saying there's nothing to say to have to quit your day job to cultivate meaningful work. There's also nothing to say your day job isn't meaningful work. Maybe you're just never thought of it that way. And it just kind of, as simple as it is, and you've said this to me before, I don't think we recorded it, but it's like, let's just have them all exist. Mm-hmm. And so I'm speaking them out loud right now. And I think that's something that just set in. It doesn't have to be one or the other in anything that you have on your plate when you're looking into it. And what are the feelings that I have deep rooted to make me think that way?
Right.
But that's some of the work internally that I'm going in. And it's like, wow, it doesn't have to be as hard as I think I feel like it is. And letting faith and trust and all these other words into my life, it really doesn't have to be as hard as I'm making it. So within that, that's kind of where I was with making a living, because I feel the stress of that now that it's more than me involved in my life. And that's newer within the last 4 years. And so that feels a little bit more stressful, if I want to put that word on it. When it's making a living or meaningful work, to me, they're two different things. And I don't think they are.
No.
So that's kind of where I saw this statement.
Yeah, in my opinion, they're all one and the same. They just have their own different bucket of importance. But I can't wait for you to read this book, and maybe we'll talk more about all the different parts, because you just literally hit a couple topics that she talks about in different chapters. So
I'm excited. Shows up Wednesday. Thank you, Amazon.
I'm so glad we're talking about this. Okay, after what you just said, the making a living part, talking about the thing that really tapped into the meaningful work for me is we do meaningful work. It's not to negate the fact that we don't already do meaningful work. For me, the growth and where that term really resonates a lot more is the fact of how things matter. And we work with populations where we see that we're out here to serve and help. We know what that is. But how much do those populations, are they able to receive? Do they receive? Do they even know what that means? It seems as if we end up telling you what to do instead of you understanding the importance of it and embodying it for yourself to make the best decisions. Even whether you know them or not, we're here to help and serve in that way. So that has been my frustration in the work that I do, especially in the arts, is because it still is the black and white face value of you come in, do the work for the people, and then they go and they do what they need to do. But how much are they really absorbing, embodying, understanding? And so that's where the meaning, my definition of meaningful work has shifted in such a capacity to where it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something more here. I just can't be hitting my head up against the wall every year, you know. And maybe I'll find a way to make sure that I can, or I'll change my scenery, change my environment. And usually that's my pattern. I just need to be with something different, but I'm still doing the same exact thing.
I love that.
At this stage, it's like a complete overhaul. And there's so much fear. There's so much anxiety, so much doubt. There's so much lack of enoughness in there that needed to be figured out. There's obviously a deeper purpose and reasoning in this bigger shift of meaningful work, but it literally had to then open up the gates or swing open that door like Kramer to say, what are we're looking at more than what that meaningful work is.
All right. Can I just add something? Literally, Zach and I were talking last night, and I told him, I said, this historically has been the time that I would be like, okay, we're moving.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm moving. He's like, Nicole, we're not really going to move it. He's like, why don't we just move the couch? And I'm like, oh my God, I married a man against me.
Why don't we just move the couch? That's such a great suggestion, though.
Let's just move the couch. Like, recognizing the intentionality that I need a change of something that I can physically control.
Yes.
I really think that's what it is, right? When I'm digging into this, because I'm like, I don't want to move. I don't want to do all those things, but that's the feeling. And where I'm at right now is like, oh boy, we gotta do some work there. Where is that truly rooted in? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. Lots of tears, all those things. But I'm excited for that. Lots of prayers, like, where do you start in that? And quote from you and my other friends. And I'm excited for that and the faith that I have where it's gonna go to build that trust to that. But we're just going to move the couch.
Did you move the couch?
Not yet, but it's happening.
Yeah. That is so funny that you do that too. If I think about it, all these years that I've toured and traveled, there was always that sense of excitement in doing that. And then after a while, that was a pattern that just didn't serve me anymore. So to go and travel is intentional, but still then, so there are worlds where I feel like it's time for us to switch it up. We're in this home for a year come Wednesday. So we're not moving.
Yeah. No.
And Joe's like, I'm done. And I'm like, I think we got one more in us, but we'll wait. We'll wait. Not gonna.
Yeah.
But it's something to say for what that change really means. But this feels so much more intentional, the internal, like, wait, why do we have to move every couple of years? And we're seeing the same thing, same patterns, even though we're shifting, like the trajectory forward, ascension, but it still has like that up and down
cadence, right? Like
you're changing, but you're not changing fast enough, but that's okay. Obviously there's something to still learn. So
I think some of it, a lot of times, and I don't know if she talked about it in here or something I was reading this morning, but going back to, I mean, for myself, a lot of times it's when I start spiraling in the conversations of negativity or self-doubt or living in that world. It's like, okay, I know what I'm really good at. I'm going to change. Let's just lean into that and this and that. But it's almost like you're so close to getting to that line of taking that step forward and launching that, whatever that is. For me, it's probably digging into a little bit more rooted reasoning around things. It could be the business thing, right? Creating something. It could be anything, but self-doubt feels comfortable sometimes. And that's where I think my change comes from. And that's just like very early stages of it. But a lot of it is, it's easier for me just to start somewhere new. It's easier to do that where it's that excitement or what have you. But I'm like, this is a really good space to stay in, and I want to stay. So it's like melding these two feelings.
That's so interesting that you said self-doubt is a comfortable place to be in. It's so true. It's uncomfortable until it gets uncomfortable, and until it gets so uncomfortable that you're like, wait, this needs to change because I just can't live like this.
But it's not anything, to your point, that is ever shown, right?
No.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. It makes me think of chronic inflammation or anything chronic. You kind of know it's there, or whether you don't know it's there until it's really there, and then it's always there. And then you think that this is the way that you need to live with it always being there, that chronic pain, that chronic anything. But it's like the paying attention, and I said that intentionally because we've been talking about it, and I know that's your word, paying attention to literally the effects of what those chronic things mean. She says here, Brené Brown, self-doubt undermines the process of finding our gifts and sharing them with the world. I feel like when we talked about gifts and talents, we talked about gifts towards the beginning. I don't feel like I knew the answer. I can't remember what my responses were.
Yeah.
But I've been so stuck in that self-doubt and lack of self-worth that I know what I can tactically do. I know what I'm good at. I know what strengths are, but what is the truth to it?
Right.
She's also said, moreover, if developing and sharing our gifts is how we honor spirit and connect with God, self-doubt is letting our fear undermine our faith. I've known that, but I feel like when I read that, she smacked me across the face like, how dare you? I'm so sorry. I knew that. And God, I'm actually sorry. I feel bad that I've done that.
So what are you going to do about it then?
What I'm doing about it now is doing what I'm doing now. I'm 2 feet in on the other side.
Yeah.
You know how that feeling of you got 1 foot forward and you got 1 foot back. It's the cliche of letting go.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally letting it go, which I've been in the process of for a while. So now I feel excited about it of, oh yeah, I let that go. Feeling the fear, or if those things do come in, and then acknowledging that they're there, and then be like, okay, what do we got to do? What's in me that's telling me that I can't do that I shouldn't do it? Or God, like, let's go to God.
Yeah.
That's the first step. There's nothing else. So it's definitely still a work in progress, but I can feel the shifts even right now, as there are a lot of things going on and there's a lot of unknowns. And it's, what do I know and trust in myself to do? And if there's any doubt or fear, then what do I need to find out? It's in continuing to actually pay attention and go deeper in towards the signs of what I'm seeing and what my intuition is saying.
Yeah.
What he's showing. And that's where, I think I said the other day, where everything's interconnected. There's always that through line. Every last thing that I read and worked on today had a connection to it. From this project, you and I, to Jacob's Pillow stuff, to stuff that I really want to start doing, and I haven't found the time to do it yet because it's not more on the creative side. It needs space and time. It needs incubation. It needs me head in the weeds. But all these other priorities, jobs, or whatever they are calling, because there's that sense of needing to make a living, to support a household. But this project, I've been seeing little seeds saying, oh, remember this? And I'm like, you know what? Yes. And so now it's the question that I always think about: why do I do this for others and I don't do it for myself? And that's a doubt question a little bit. Just as much as it is, actually, Angelica, you can do this.
Yeah.
So at first, I would say, if you were to ask me, that it would be more on the doubt. Why don't you do this? You know you can do it. You're doing it for others. Why don't you do it? But then it's actually, now, as I talk about that, it's you can do it. So what do you need to know? And that's where.
Or what's next?
Yeah. And giving the space for it, because right now I'm giving space for everything else and everybody else, which is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously giving space for myself now internally for all the things that I'm continuing to work on, those creative projects that are essentially me and Joe, or whatever it may be. Even this falls in that category of the me projects, because there are many a times where I would have like, oh, I've got no time, I got to cancel this. I would have done it multiple times, over and over, in the old Angelica. I only did it once because I was literally dead from travel. We made it up. So it's things like that where I can see the shift in my actions, and that's the whole intention.
Yeah. And I love that you just said that word, because I was literally just getting ready to say the intentionality of doing something and that consistency, because sometimes that's the hardest thing, right? And so even giving your space to be creative, just to allow yourself to be like, okay, what's next? If this is next, okay, this is how I do it. You can have all of those pieces, but I truly feel like that intentionality and the consistency to keep at it, keep it scheduled for myself, similar to what you just said, showing up for this space for myself, for my growth, personally, professionally, all the slashes of who I am as Nicole, my space for my friendship with you and supporting your growth and intentionality. It's that commitment and consistency that it's creating. And this is practice. Just that, from a logistic standpoint, like this is part of the practice for myself, to be able to show up consistently, because I agree with you, right? Like 2:00 on Mondays with the babies and the work schedule and all those laundry lists of whatever else is happening.
Yeah.
Very easy to say, you know what, I can't make it. But it's surprising when you shift that mindset and say, you know what, I can make it. I can show up. I can do this hard thing. I can do hard things. And so for me, on my shift from high achiever professional mom, let's figure this bumpy road out, just these little things like I can show up, I can do hard things, and I can do hard things with both worlds that I truly enjoy. And what does that look like in my new sense of self? And so Just that little thing for me right now, where I'm at on my journey, just those little logistical wins.
How does that feel?
Good. Well, so I haven't really spent too much time reflecting on it until like literally just now.
But as you're saying that, how does it feel as you're saying it?
It's great.
Because I can feel it off of you, and it just feels like, yes. Like,
Yes.
thank you.
I think when I'm saying it out loud, it's time for it to flow over, right? I don't feel as depleted. I honestly think since our first episode, there's a newfound sense, essence, purpose, and intentionality and all those words. And it's like, okay, so this doesn't have to be just this lane. This doesn't have to be just that lane. I described yesterday to some friends, I'm a professional compartmentalizer, except when you have too many compartments, it becomes very challenging. I'm waving the right flag in that and realizing it needs to be a blended one large cabinet. But when you have things that are flowing and full, it's like, just open them up. And so I think that's where I'm at. By saying that out loud, I feel that door opening a little bit more. It locks off now. Like, all right, let's just have a conversation.
The lock and the latch?
I mean, the door's open, but you know what I mean? Like, you got to close it a little bit to then slide the latch off to open it. Like, okay, I'll have a conversation.
Yes.
No one's invited to dinner yet, but like, it's a process.
Letting the air in or something. I love that.
Old squeaky door. But yeah, I think similar to what I said at the beginning of this, I'm just in a place like having a hard time putting words to it because I think it's a different level than I've dug before. And so it's uncomfortable. It's not a normal space that I live in to be able just to like, I found the words because they're the same words that I use for everything else that just hit. So it's deeper. We'll get there.
We're definitely going to check in once you start reading this book because it's all stuff that you know, but just the perspective. She brings a lot of words that are just so simple. And sometimes that's the thing, not having the words, but it could be the most simple of words to describe or to help you understand or whatever it may be. I'll be interested to see how you continue to flow.
I think some of that, going back to our beginning conversation of self-doubt and living in that, it's like sometimes when you feel that if you're starting in that self-doubt, sometimes you don't have the words to get yourself out of it. And then it feels heavy and hard. And you're just in this cycle. How do you stop that? Tiny wins in different aspects are helpful. I know for myself to stop the flow of self-doubt, but you can't find the true words of where you're at. And I think it comes back to the foundational build of that faith and that trust and letting go. And so it's like, what does that truly look like?
This makes me think because I 100% agree with you as far as not having the words. I'm the same way, especially when it's in the unknown, the multi-hyphenate. It's all the things.
Yeah.
It's not just one clear thing anymore. It's very cloudy and it's understanding within yourself where you're heading and who you are within it. And it's not something that's emulated either. It may be in our closest relationships, depending, but you don't know until you know. So to not have the language, I understand that completely. And she says on this page 144, to overcome self-doubt and supposed to, we have to start owning the message. So in owning the message then, and we're talking about language and having the words, I guess it makes me curious about what are the questions that we're asking ourselves to be able to get to that space.
Yeah.
To better know or chip away at what it is to be, to have those words. That makes sense.
No idea.
I don't think I asked the right questions.
No idea. I think am I hearing that right? What is the work or what are your steps to identify those things? What are you talking about? Say it again.
Generally, to have the language in what you're looking to seek for. If you think about a researcher, you have to have your hypothesis, your research question to start to find what the information is. I guess you can approach it from that, of what is the question that we're asking in order to find the language that we need to identify. I
think we talked about this during our last conversation. Sometimes I default to too analytical. I'm trying really hard not to, and you keep saying, well, how do you feel about it?
Feeling is not analytical.
No.
Feelings
Feels.
is not analytical. It can be if you want it to be.
Yeah. I'm
Really?
trying not to let it be. And so it's like this, I feel comfortable in a space to answer questions that I've answered before, or answer it in a way that can be receptive to folks. But I don't think I know the question at this point that I'm ready to even explore yet. Honestly, it's identifying my reactions to situations throughout my life, whether it be work, the kids, or my husband, realizing where is this truly coming from? Because there's a differentiated moment of here's my reaction. Why am I reacting? I started peeling that level back. And why am I reacting that way? Where is that really rooted from? And so to call it feelings or call it your heart, call it your soul, call it whatever word you want to plan it on right now. At least for me, I'm just not there to what that word looks like.
Yeah.
I don't love the word feelings.
What's
I don't
another
know.
word that's synonymous?
Yeah. Figure one out. But that.
What are you experiencing? Is that better?
We'll work on it.
Okay. I'm going to find it.
Purpose? No.
Huh?
No.
Feelings is literally like emotions and all the hard stuff.
Yeah. I think the phase that I'm at right now is discovery. That would be where I'm living right now. So I don't even think I'm at the phase to ask the question. I'm still in this discovery phase, trying not to allow myself to feel like I have the answer when I didn't even ask a question yet. In my world, I call that the discovery phase for a client. I'm going to go talk to the client.
Yeah.
So in my world right now for that, and call it I said feelings, I'm going to go to God.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the surrender. That's the trust. Those are all those action oriented terms that we've been talking about.
Yeah. So for me right now, it's opening up all those compartments to that. So I'm in the discovery phase.
I love that. That's really great. You don't need to know the answers, nor do you want to. You're just walking the path right now. You're the faith in the wilds.
Yes.
What you're doing.
It is a wild place. But within that is staying grounded, staying focused, staying intentional, purposeful, like all of those things that have really been focus of these last few months, and having grace.
Yeah.
With myself during these times. That's the excitement. And so how do you cultivate feelings, right? Like of I want to move, what's next, like all of that. Let's package that and maybe deliver it in a little bit of a different way to push you forward in that other avenue.
It's definitely going to be different in all of the good ways because you're rooted in self, more self-aware. It's a deeper connection with God in the same breath. The more self-aware you are, the deeper you are with him. Oh.
So that sums it up. That would be how I answer it.
I mean, that was a great response. I understood exactly what you meant, and that's the essence of everything where you're at. And I think it's great. There's so much room for possibilities within it, and you're ready to embark on that.
Mm-hmm. Faith in the wild.
Faith in the wild.
So I got a question for you.
Tell me.
This is to go back as your future self to this moment. Can you find a word for where you're at right now in the journey? Mine's discovery.
Transformation. The transition of the transformation. Like, you know how you have employees that you want the two employees, the one who's going out and the one who's coming in, you want them to overlap to help the transition of the one coming in. I'm in that. But there's no someone to help me overlap other than God, obviously. There's no other person saying, like, this is what we do and this is how we do it. Nope. So it's transformation and transition at the same time. The transformation part is the slower, has been happening for years part.
Yeah.
Whereas the transition is like, oh, so you're talking about now? Like we're getting ready to Oh, like you mean last year wasn't it? No, that wasn't it. That was like you saying that you wanted to go do it, but you then found self-doubt and fear as to not go do it. So you went into the same loop. Now it's the transition in let's co-create it. Let's make the meaning, all the things that matter. Half the time lately, I've been like, you know what, this doesn't matter. And it just goes, it's like, okay, great. Now let's start to stack the things that do. For me, this chapter spoke so much because of that meaningful work. It's just meaning making, things that matter amongst all of the craziness in the world. You know, how can I continue to impart and impact what I need? So with that, I got to transition first, or I got to continue to transition.
Yeah.
But that stuff is kind of like the doing. The transformation has been like the internal me.
The feelings.
Feelings, yes. I've been tapping into all of them. Emotionally heavy. You know, what are those things that are holding me back? Why am I holding myself back? Nothing's holding me back. So that's my word.
Good. I like it. I wrote them down for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So where do you go from here today? In your discovery, where do you find yourself excited? Where do you feel yourself hopeful?
This week, I was praying for grace. I'm going to lean into that one, giving myself some grace, not having to have the answer right now of what is next. I think I have a couple avenues. I think this book, the Brené Brown book, I look forward to kind of leaning into a little bit and doing some reading to that. I have the Enneagrams. I took a free quiz. They have a couple of quizzes online.
I couldn't tell you what my number is. Do you know what your number is?
It said 1.
Okay. I read that book so fast and then it was kind of like, boop.
It depends on, so I took it like online to like a personality thing and then like they dive in a little bit more, but I want to read the book more open, not feeling like I am one thing, because I know there's different layers, you know, kind of like what is rooted within your one, because not all ones are the same type of thing. And I think that's part of this decompartmentalizing things. That is what I'm doing. I'm decompartmentalizing with grace and getting into the word of God, getting into the word of self-discovery with people who are at different phases of their journey, surrounding myself with people that are being just as intentional. I think that's always helpful. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. It's like, what are you doing? Writing notes, putting them up, having it all around. Because I think that helps keep the doubt and the fears at bay for me. So that's, I think over the next few weeks, just figuring out what this new rhythm is as we come into spring for myself as I embark in this discovery phase.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't think I have this. I feel like I've done them all. The human design, the Enneagram, that type of stuff. The information just ends up going in and out. So I couldn't tell you what my number is. I was looking at the 9 stages of creative process.
Okay.
For some reason, discovery, in my mind, I'm like, is discovery the top phase? It's actually becoming. But becoming is just like, that's literally it. Discovery is becoming. So yeah, I can't wait to see how your discovery goes.
I'd love to know what other people's thoughts are.
Yeah.
Of the definition of meaningful work for folks. I don't know if I have an answer yet. And so I think that's part of my discovery is what is that?
For me, if you just flat out answer that question, back in the day, it would be putting the cart before the horse of what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to be doing that is of meaningful work? Mm-hmm. Whereas now at this phase of Angelica, the doing is the last part. It's the who are you, the being part. And what is God calling of you? Sometimes previously, Angelica would put, well, God, what are you telling me to do? That's the cart before the horse instead of like, who are you calling me to be in this process?
Yeah.
So the meaningful work and knowing that if there's even that inclination of knowing that that's what you're here to do or how you want to impact the world is through meaning and stuff like that, then obviously you have to find out who you are and what that means anyways, you know? And so it's very interesting how that question is so, I know. It can have 10 million different perspectives and I've experienced them both. Where that meaningful work. It's like, actually, I'm already doing it. The gifts and the talents and all the things. The meaning is here. It's just shifting in perspective of importance, priority, purpose, being more purpose driven versus just saying I'm doing it. And I've fallen off of that horse so long ago, but then I get caught up in that. I took me a long time to be able to let that go because, I don't want to be doing this, but that's all that I can do right now. Well, yes, but no, but it's just so many layers.
It is.
Good question to ask.
Which is why I asked the question, because it's a lot deeper rooted.
Yeah, truly.
When you say stuff like that, you feel like you're missing out on something, or there's a piece of the puzzle missing to what already is truly there. And so that's why I asked the question of what others think, what meaningful work is, because those to me have some similarities.
Yeah.
Thought process, but this is, like you're saying, this is more of a feelings versus this analytical needing an answer. How do I make a living? Right.
In the end, it's what is important to you. That's meaning right there.
Yeah.
What holds purpose and intention for you to step out and be a part of what you're doing. I've been looking heavily into meaning making because I know that's definitely been a catalyst of what I want to create in the world. Some people, their meaning making could be having children, or their meaning making could be having family, or just like there's so many facets of what that meaningful work looks like. But the work is the doing. What is the essence behind it? It took me a minute because it's culture that tends to set it. But especially in this day and age where everything's shifting and the norms are not the norms anymore, it's to say what's authentic to you. And
yeah. Okay, door's open.
Door is wide open, and it's what you want to do with the stuff that came in.
Yeah. That's always the question. This has really been a great opportunity over these last few episodes, diving in, giving some buzzwords, but it's like, how do you make meaning of those? Really make meaning of those, in which I hope we continue to be able to open that space up for ourselves as well as for others.
That's why we're here, ourselves and others. So I love it. I don't know where we'll find ourselves next Monday, but obviously there's more to discover.
See what you did there.
As you discover.
That's the word. Put a word to it.
Yes, I love it.
Until next week.
I love your life.
I love you. This is good.
Until next week.
Bye, buddy.
As we bring today's journey to a close, we invite you to carry these reflections into your own wilderness moments this week.
Remember that growth rarely happens in comfortable spaces. It's in the questions, the uncertainty, and yes, even the doubts, where we often discover the essence of ourselves and our faith.
We're so grateful to have you walking alongside us on this path. Until next time, may you trust the journey, embrace the wilderness, and find God in the wild spaces. This has been Faith in the Wild podcast. I'm Angelica McCarthy.
And I'm Nicole Moran. Thank you for listening.
High five.
High five. Love your life.